The glove 2 miles away, 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home in the Tucson desert, investigators found a glove. Not a lost glove, not a coincidence. A glove matching the one visible on the suspect's hand in doorbell camera footage taken the night Nancy disappeared. Inside that glove, DNA, unknown male DNA. And tonight, that single piece of evidence is part of a chain that is pulling this entire investigation toward one person. Nancy Guthrie is 84 years old. She vanished from her home in the Catalina foothills of Tucson, Arizona in the early hours of February 1st. Her daughter is Savannah Guthrie, Today's Show anchor, recognizable to millions of Americans. But this crime was not about Savannah. This crime was about Nancy, and whoever took her knew exactly who she was. Here's what I am going to show you tonight. By the time this video ends, you will understand exactly what the DNA recovered from inside Nancy's home reveals about who was in that house. You will also understand what investigators found when they executed a coordinated search across 3 separate locations simultaneously, and why that word simultaneously tells you everything about where this investigation stands right now. 2 promises, 1 video. Stay with me, because the glove is just where this story ends. It starts somewhere else entirely. It starts inside Nancy Guthrie's home on the night she disappeared. And the first thing you need to know, the detail that changes every assumption you might have about this case, if you are not subscribed, do it right now. Hit the bell. When an arrest happens in this case, that notification is the only way you will know the moment it drops. Subscribe, turn on every notification, and come straight back. Her house was immaculate. No broken glass, no overturned furniture, no signs of a fight anywhere inside. Just Nancy's home, exactly as she kept it, and then on the front porch, something that told a completely different story. Immaculate inside. Blood on the steps. This is Promise 1 delivered. The inside of Nancy Guthrie's home showed no signs of struggle. Multiple rooms were described as immaculate. That word came directly from a source described by News Nation as very clear investigation. Brian Entin reported it from the ground in Tucson. No chaos, no fight, no desperation. But on the front porch, Nancy Guthrie's blood, confirmed through DNA analysis by Sheriff Chris Nanos of the Pima County Sheriff's Office. Not a trace amount. Blood spatter on the front step. Blood dripped across the driveway. A concentrated, violent pattern on the doorstep of an otherwise untouched home. That contradiction is the forensic center of this entire case. Jim Clemente spent his career at the FBI building criminal profiles for the most serious violent crimes in America. He is one of the original Mindhunters. He looked at that blood evidence and told Fox News Digital exactly what it meant. If there was no blood spatter pattern inside the house, then outside by the front door or while she was going through the door, this is where she put up a fight or refused to go any further. This is where she was assaulted, most likely struck in the nose or mouth. She fell to her knees or on the ground, aspirated, then coughed up blood, which also dripped around the same spot. Read that slowly. The violence did not happen inside. It happened at the threshold at the exact moment Nancy Guthrie was being moved from inside her home to outside. Before that moment, she was compliant. Whether she was threatened, subdued, or whether she walked to that door herself for someone she recognized. Before she hit that porch, there was no struggle. Jim Clemente drew one more conclusion from that blood pattern. 1 abductor, not 2, not 3. 1 person took Nancy Guthrie from her home that night. And that person had already been inside that house before February 1st, because on the morning Nancy was discovered missing, the back doors of her home were found propped open. Not forced, not broken, propped from the inside. And you cannot prop a door open from the outside. Someone was already inside. This is Promise 2 delivered. To prop a door open from inside, you have to be inside. That means before Nancy Guthrie was walked out her front door at approximately 2 a.m., someone had already opened the back exit and staged it. Savannah Guthrie confirmed the prop doors herself in a live interview on the Today Show in late March 2026. This was not leaked. This came directly from Nancy's own daughter. Former Pima County SWAT Commander Bob Krieger walked the desert terrain behind Nancy's property with Brian Entin on camera. His assessment was direct. The terrain behind that home is accessible at night. Someone who scouted it, someone who knew it, could move through it without appearing on any street-level camera. This was not improvised. This was rehearsed. Here is what the full picture of this crime scene tells you. 5 verified forensic facts in the order they matter. The interior was immaculate. No struggle, no chaos, no fight inside the home. Nancy's blood was confirmed on the front porch. Violence happened. At the threshold, the back doors were propped open from the inside. A staged exit route, the doorbell camera went offline at exactly 1:47 a.m. Targeted, not a power failure. Unknown male DNA was recovered from inside the home. Not matching anyone with a documented reason to be there, Sheriff Chris Nanos confirmed the DNA publicly to NBC News. He used one word, mixed. A mixed biological profile. Genetic material from multiple contributors in a single sample. CeCe Moore is the chief genetic genealogist at Parabon Nanolabs. She explained to People magazine why that word matters. A mixed sample contains genetic material from multiple individuals, and separating those contributions is one of the most technically complex challenges in forensic DNA work. The FBI's own profilers have built toward one theory. The suspect was in that house before the night of the abduction. They knew the layout, they knew the camera, they knew whether cloud backup was running. That kind of knowledge does not come from watching the house from the street. Nancy may have opened that front door herself for someone she recognized. Drop your theory in the comments. Who had that kind of access to her home? That unknown DNA, that partial male profile recovered from inside an 84-year-old woman's home, is now at the FBI's laboratory in Quantico, Virginia. And the woman who has cracked cases with far less than this just said something that should terrify whoever left it there. Quantico has it now. CeCe Moore does not speculate. She builds family trees from fragments of genetic material, and she finds people. She told People magazine this: "If I was the kidnapper, I would be extremely worried right now." Here is why that line matters. Investigative genetic genealogy does not need a complete profile. It does not need a perfect sample. It can take a partial degraded mixed DNA contribution and search public genealogy databases for relatives, second cousins, third cousins, anyone sharing enough markers to indicate a common ancestor. From there, trained genealogists build a family tree forward and backward until the population of possible suspects narrows from hundreds to dozens to a handful. Fox News confirmed through sources that the FBI received the DNA data from the hair sample recovered inside Nancy's home. Advanced analysis is underway at Quantico right now, but the DNA is not the only wall closing in. In late April 2026, law enforcement executed searches across 3 separate properties connected to this investigation, not Nancy's home, other locations, properties tied to individuals who came into focus as investigators built their profile of who had the access, the knowledge, and the capability to execute this abduction. The searches were simultaneous. That word is deliberate. Simultaneous searches prevent communication. If you search one property and then move to the next, you give people time to warn each other, hide things, change their stories. Investigators went to all 3 locations at the same time because they believed those locations were connected. Brian Antin was there. He entered the primary suspect property. He documented what was inside. And people familiar with the investigation described what was found as disturbing, consistent with direct involvement, not circumstantial. Subscribe right now. This case is moving faster than the public knows. You need to be here when the next update drops. 3 locations searched at the same moment. Investigators did not want those people talking to each other. What do you think they found? Tell me in the comments. The full inventory of what was recovered inside that suspect property has not been released. That is what an active federal investigation looks like from the outside. But here is what we do know, and when you lay it all in sequence, it is enough. The walls are closing. Let me show you what this case looks like when you put every piece in order. Her home was immaculate. Her blood was on the front porch. The back doors were staged open from inside. Her camera went dark at 1:47 a.m. Targeted, precise, deliberate. Unknown male DNA was inside that house before she was taken. A glove 2 miles away carried that same unknown profile. 3 locations were searched simultaneously. Disturbing items were recovered. The DNA is at Quantico. The genealogy process is running. Jim Clemente said it. CeCe Moore said it. Every profiler who reviewed this case said it. One person, singular, acting with planning, preparation, and inside access. But here is what none of that evidence answers yet. Where is Nancy Guthrie right now? She is 84 years old. She was taken from her own home in the middle of the night. She fought at her own front door. And she has not been found. Every forensic thread in this investigation leads to one person. The DNA at Quantico may be the last piece the FBI needs to say that publicly. Nancy has been missing for over 100 days. If something in this video doesn't add up for you, or if you think you know who did this, tell me in the comments. I read every single one. Subscribe for every update on this case as it breaks. The next video may be the one that changes everything. Turn on notifications. Do not miss it.